Hi everyone, my name's Sally and welcome to my channel, So Sally. Thank you so much for joining me. Bit off piece today, bit different, no dressmaking, but at the request of Jasmine from Jazzleberry Sews, I'm going to give you a quick whirlwind tour of my favourite bag patterns. I'm going to start with one that I have done I have no idea how many times, and this is a free pattern by a designer called Sally Tomato. That's Sally, not with a Y but IE, and it is a free pattern called the wristlet bag. I have done this incarnation so many times as makeup bags as gifts. It's a cracking little pattern, really simple, clean, easy to do. I have, however, done it as bags, and I've also done it as gifts for friends as a bag. I have actually kept a wristlet for myself. You will see why straight away, because it has been done in Morris. Leftovers from my Morris quilt kit. And lovely little wristlet. Nice bit of hardware, show it off, and there you go. Lovely. Quite a spacious little bag actually for the size, and I always put a clasp on the inside of my bags. I have anxiety about keys, especially car keys, and super especially if I'm on a multi-storey car park. So all you do is, when you've finished with your keys, you've parked up, you clip them on there, and then you know that you put your hand inside the bag and there's the clip with your keys. Great little bag, very useful, very purposeful, loads of uses. Great free pattern, and I've done a bit of stripy patchwork with my Morris offcuts on that one. So that's the Sally Tomato wristlet. The next one, there's a bit of a tale to this one. I did it the first time. It's called the Mia Messenger. Here is my first one, which I've done in this beautiful Sanderson. And I had some leftover corduroy, which I used for the strap, which in this case is double-sided. I've got to say, this bag, to say it tested my patience would be an understatement. I'll tell you why. Just here, you have the strap, which is the strap becomes the side, becomes the base, and it's joined in the middle as one solid piece. And this strap goes into the side lining and the zip, creating a curved Y seam. I actually sent a video straight after I tried to do the first one, because I had to unpick it about 3 times, to my Bessie, the Staffordshire sewist. It's not for public broadcast. I'll leave it at that. However, you know when you say, I'm never doing that pattern again, and someone says to you, Sally, would you make something up for me? And it happened to be the lovely Adele, who's a really good friend of mine, Sew for Serenity, or the Fabric Obsession, depending which hat she's got on. And I said, yeah, what can I do for you, Adele? She says, well, I've got this bag pattern and I love the fabric, but I don't do bags. Would you do it for me? I went, yeah, of course I will. She went, it's the Mia Messenger. Do you know, it flew together. I loved making it. I couldn't believe it. So much so that a lovely lady who goes to another social, her name's Karen, and I do apologise, I can't remember her Insta handle, sorry. She brings in lots and lots of scrap leather from where she works. And I made this. I made this leather messenger. I prefer much shorter handles than the pattern dictates, so I have reduced mine considerably. And I also did not do double-sided on this leather bag because of bulk, to be quite frank. But having said that, I didn't line it either because I absolutely adore the smell and texture of leather. So it is sort of, yeah, I had to use tissue paper on the back, but that's the inside. And it's a lovely roomy bag. There's options to put laptop pockets in it. I went for the, oh, it goes with my South Bank top. I went for the pockets on the outside. See, it's all patchwork with bits and pieces. I have to say, I didn't really appreciate until I started sewing that different weights of leathers behave differently. And the pocket, the panel there is a little bit creased. So when I use this, I've got a really lovely orangey brown scarf, which I just tie around that handle there. But to be fair, when Karen saw it, she was like, oh my God, you've made a bag out of the scraps. And I'm like, yes. And she said, oh, that you've got that bit of leather in there, that bit. And I was like, yeah, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. And she went, well, I'm not going to say who, but it's connected to royalty. I'm not going to worry about a couple of them bits there. I'm not going to worry. So what I will say to you is, if you do a bag pattern, you think never again, give it another try. Because by making mistakes, we learn. Profound, I know, for a Saturday afternoon. But I can make a mistake and I can then learn from it. And I think doing that second messenger for Adele was the best thing I ever did, because it made me do a bag for my friend and conquer my fear of that pattern. Going on from that, I then made a self-drafted tote. Because as we know, last autumn, the colour was wine, or is it Merlot, or is it claret? Who knows? However, I made this little self-drafted tote. I put one pocket on the inside, my key clasp. It's seen a lot of use, this bag, actually. And there are countless people on YouTube that are doing tote tutorials, so go for it. If you've got a colour in PU that you think, yeah, that's all the rage, just stitch up a little tote. Yeah, cool. Okay, one bag that I love and have used so much, you will see the wear on it, came from the Stuart Hillard Bags for Life book. And it was the Essential Messenger bag. Very nice make. And I did this in PU and cork. It's been so loved that the cork is actually starting to wear. It's still usable because it actually looks a little bit sort of vintagey, doesn't it? Well, I like to think so. But it's a great bag. I put a zip placket inside because I like a bit of security. Great little letterbox zip on the back. Good pattern, good bag. Very useful. Great size too. Yeah, So that's a good one. Stuart Hillard pattern. One pattern that I've done that I will straight away make an admission. I made the noodle head Harrelson belt bag for my Bessie, Staffordshire sewist, in pink tweed patchwork. Harris tweed, scraps, got them cheap as chips, made this bag, so pleased with it. I thought, I'll do one for me. Okay, lovely jubbly. They were green scraps. And I made my little Harrelson. I put some nice hardware. I put on a pre-made strap. And as you can see, it's all patchwork because it was pieces of tweed, but it's a really nice little make. Good inside bunny fabric obvs. Nice little zip pocket. Yeah, very useful. Put your cards in. But considering this was the second one I made, proper schoolgirl error. The pocket on the back works perfectly for the best mate, but when you open mine, it's sealed. So somehow I managed to sew that one up, but we don't worry about that because not everyone needs to know that that's stitched together. Harrelson noodle head. Fantastic instructions, so easy to follow. How I managed that, I'll never know, but there you go. I've got another noodle head pattern, the crescent tote, so I'm going to have a go at that one. Not done that one before. Inspired by the Harrelson and how well the instructions read, I then went on to the Oxbow tote. And as you can see, there's one in the background. There it is. That was the first one I made, and that was the large. I adore that bag. I adore it. So much so that when it came to Adele's partner in crime, Bex of What Bex Sews and the Fabric Obsession, I made her one as a gift because she gave me quite a lot of things. And I made it in navy with a Liberty pocket on the front where the bunnies are, and then inside plain lining with a strip of Liberty squares. But I didn't make it that size. I made it that size, and this is one that I made for me. And what I did was I reduced the size of the pattern on a photocopier, and I came up with what I've termed the mini Oxbow. It's quite a nice little bag, and it wasn't that difficult to sew. Still very roomy bunny fabric obvs. Big pocket, clasp, yeah, it's got it all. Nice little bag, great with jeans, just the right colour for jeans, yeah. And then we're going to finish off with the last two that I've made. For those of you that didn't see my previous vlog, I made the Boxing Clever Pouch from Stuart Hillard's bag book, Make 100 Bags. Cracking make, very useful. You could use it for toiletries, but to be quite honest, you could store anything in this. It's so roomy. But what I really like about this pouch is sugar bag base, the sides, which took me a bit to get my head around, but I got it. And then rather than chop those triangles off and bias tape them, you leave them in. And that helps so much with the construction of the pouch. I have lined it with a bosal. However, those triangles just help even more, and there's a heck of a lot of room in here. It's a big pouch. So I can recommend that from the book. That's a great make. And also, as in my last vlog, I made the You Can Take Me Anywhere bag, which is here. Gold chain, nice zip, tassel. It's the finishing touches, I think, with bags sometimes. You can't go wrong if you've got a lovely bit of hardware. It really elevates your bag. Of course. And that is a lovely, lovely make. Loads of room. Great bag. Can thoroughly recommend that pattern. So that's 2 out of his book that I've now completed. I am about to make, because I've traced the patterns off, the bindle bag from Stuart's book. And I've decided, I've actually done the fabric pull for this, which is highly unusual for me. I normally leave it till the last minute, but I think doing these is making me a bit more accountable. I have chosen some Morris tapestry fabric because Stuart recommends a heavyweight fabric. Morris tapestry, I shall do a plain lining, and I have found out this grey webbing, which I think goes with it better than better. See, if I put navy with that, I think it'd be too dark, and I don't want red. I haven't got green. Well, I have, but it's like neon. I think I might go with the grey. If I show you the picture again, you see here, that's where the fabric ends, and then it goes around there like that. It's really nice, isn't it? So that's my next bag make. I hope you've enjoyed this quick romp through all the bags I've done. Any questions you've got, just come back to me. Promise I'll do dressmaking next time. That's my latest purchase. Looking forward to chopping that up. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, please subscribe, please leave me comments, and I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.